Hello, welcome to another PlayBASIC Live video. Today we'll be doing sort of one of the fundamental things about setting up PB to make a game. We'll be opening the IDE, saving our project and copying some media to that project and then loading it. So a little bit to get through. Bear with me, but we'll endeavour to get through it together. So first of all, let's open up our PlayBASIC. I'm using not quite sure what revision this is, but so I've got a few different revisions, but yours should look pretty much the same as this. When we open the IDE, the PlayBASIC IDE, the code editing environment, it will open a project for us that's empty. So we could just type some code in here, hello world, sorry about the terrible example. Wait key, hit F5 to run it, and we have code up and running. Press a key, it should end. Back to the IDE. Now, that's fine if you just want to mess around quickly and try something out, but sooner or later you're going to want to create your own projects rather than load other people's existing work. Okay, so if we wanted to save this as a project that we could reload some other time, we need to go up to File, down to Save As, and it's opened in full screen for some reason. Now, what I'll do today is at the moment it's opened up into another project I was working on before, but this time we'll go to Desktop, and here is the project name. It's down the bottom here. It defaults to project 1, but we'll call this Hello World project. Hello World project. Now, if I save that, the files, there'll be two files, well actually a couple of other files saved to your desktop, all spread over your desktop. Now, what you should do is create a folder, and we'll create a folder called Hello World Project. Whoops. Should learn how to type by now. Hit enter. Now we'll enter that folder. Now we'll save our project into this location. So we've made a folder. Now PB will save our project file, the source code, and some stuff to do with the icons and things like that that can be associated with your project into that folder. So this can be a little bit confusing initially. The author name here hasn't been set because obviously in the settings here it hasn't been. Yeah, so this will be we'll just put Kev. Okay, so that project is now saved. If I minimize this and we look on the desktop, there should be a folder. There it is. It's a folder called Hello World Project, which we created. If I enter that folder, we've got three different files. We've got Hello World Project.pbp, and we've got Hello World Project.pbr and main. Now, the main file is actually the source code. The PBP project, which is an acronym for PlayBASIC Project File, that is actually the project file can also it's the project file, yes, which it contains a bunch of settings about your project, mostly. And this is the code. Go back to the IDE. Let's close this project. So we can just reload it by going back to reload and hit up here, which is often what I tend to do actually. Or depends on whether you've got associations set up. I haven't on this computer, obviously. So you can just drag and drop the file to the IDE as well. No, silly Windows. There you go. And once that PBP project file, that's the one that has all the information about this project. So your project might have multiple source files associated with it. So we go up here to the project menu, go to manage project. We can add we can add an existing file, source code file, or we could make a new file. Yeah, we'll just call this one my include. My include file. And here it's showing us the order in which the files will be compiled or pieced together when they're compiled. I want my include file first, and then I want my main second. So that's all fine. Hit OK. Up the top here in our we've got our main, which is this code here, and our include. So I might make over here, you might have a collection of functions that you use a lot, or just something that's commonplace, but you don't really want them mixed up in your main program. So we could make a function, print red message. So this will just print whatever we sent it, but we might change the ink color. So what I would normally do with this kind of routine is I always get the old ink color, old ink, ask for the ink color, then I would set the ink color that I wanted here, RGB, we'll make it a bright red, do our print, and then we'll reset the ink to what it was initially. So that looks okay, it looks like it should compile, but we'll just test that. Yep, everything compiled and it ran fine. Might go up and give it a quick save. Now in our folder back here on the desktop, sorry, we're bouncing around everywhere. We now have our include file, and it has a backup as well. Every time we include, every time we save, we have at least 2 backups. So our project now contains 6 files for our simple Hello World program. Just close that file and go back to PlayBASIC. Just grab that, go back to main. So we print hello world, and we put a print here. Oh, sorry, print red. We're calling this function. Make it a big long line of characters, let's say. F5 to run. And there we have it. So with include files like managed through the IDE like this, they're compiled from left to right. So the ones on the left over here, which might be hard to see, I'm sorry, when we hit build, that's pieced into the file source code, and then the next file is appended to that. It's all bundled together and sent to the compiler. So the compiler just compiles one big chunk of source source code rather than having to search for files that might require pre-processing by something else, like the IDE in this case. Okay, that's our very first project. So let's do it again, but this one will have some media in it. We'll make it load an image or something like that. So we'll close that project and we'll start from scratch. So we'll restart PlayBASIC. We didn't have to do that, but we'll just do it for the sake of example. This time, I don't know, we'll call it, I've had some sprites before. These sprite files here. There's a free night. It's very cool, isn't it? It just occurred to me I didn't keep the URL. I'm not quite sure who made these now. But they've got a cool little animation. A couple of different types of animations. So we might load some code that loads an animation and displays it on screen. Who knows? But for now, we need to set up a project. So go back to PlayBASIC. Might set my author name. Everything else looks pretty good. Most of my projects tend to have a bit of a blurb at the top, so when I open them up I actually know what the hell I'm looking at. When you write so many things over such a long time, it actually can be a bit confusing. You know, so my game demo v1 by Kev. Okay, so our source code is kind of nothing at this point. We haven't saved anything, so let's go up to File, go down to Save As, and at the moment it's sitting inside our previous project, so we don't want to save it there. We want to go up a level. I'll save it to desktop again. So we'll make a folder on the desktop. We'll call this, I don't know what we'll call it. What do you think we should call it? We'll call it game project example. That'll do. We've made the folder, but now we have to go inside the folder and we'll set our file name here to something more descriptive. So night game. hear all the animals outside. Was it night game sprite example? Gee, I wish I could type in this keyboard. There we go. Looks okay. That'll do us. Hit enter and that will save the project to the desktop. So we head out over the desktop here and we can see our folders made, and inside we do have our PB source code and our project file for this project. Now what I would normally do is I would actually make a folder in here. I normally call it GFX, which is just short for graphics, by the way. And then we might go into that folder. I'll go to our sprites. Yeah. Let's just copy that across. It's got more files in there than what we actually need. All we need is the PNG files. Okay, so we've got our project files, our source code, our media files are in that one place as well. And they all got different names and so forth. So we'll have to load those names manually. Okay, let's just go back to PlayBASIC. Now that media is kind of set up and ready to go. You can save any time just with Control S, just like Notepad and those kind of projects. So to get the image into memory, all we do is we use the command load image. You have to tell it where this file is, and the file will be relative to where the source code is saved. And this is why we saved our files inside the project. So all the material is actually in one place. What the hell was that called? Okay. Oh, free night. There you go. Sorry, I should have known that. So it's inside the graphics folder. It's inside a folder called free night, and then inside that is a folder called PNG, and inside that is hopefully our sprites. I think I've opened the wrong one, have I? Yes, I have. Terrific. I wish the mouse had moved better. There we go. Free night, PNG. Let's just load that file there. Attack 1. Just grab the name. .png. Okay, so we've got the file name. Now we need a slot to load this thing into. So I'll be lazy and just use image 1. Now if I just do a quick courtesy save, hit F5 to run, we didn't get any errors, and if the file name is wrong, and I'll just prove this to you right now, we'll put some garbage in there, we'll get a runtime error like that. It's telling us it tried to load some graphics and could not find it. It's giving us the wrong line number, which is very inappropriate, but so the code did compile and run and execute correctly, but we didn't do anything with the image, so how do you know what if it loaded correctly or not? So we load the previous image into image slot 1, so we'll reuse that here. We'll draw it at X and Y 200 200, and we won't draw it transparent, we'll just draw it all flat, so all of the mask color will be displayed. I'm pretty sure these images here have alpha channels, so we'll have to probably fiddle around with this in a second, but let's just get it on screen. We've drawn the image to the screen, call sync, call wait key, do a bit of a save, and there we go. It's on screen, but the sprite is massive. I didn't realize it was so large. Oh well. We can change the project's default window size. Let's just go up to Project, Settings, and the screen over here. 800. Yeah, let's go a bit bigger than that. What about 960 by 700? Yeah, it's a better size. This should be set to 32-bit, even though we're in window mode. Hit OK. Again, I like to save a lot actually. I'm that sort of person. Right, our screen is way too big, but we are actually on screen. So we have loaded an image, we've drawn this thing to screen, and we've synced. We're sitting there waiting for something else to do. So that's really all there is to do for setting up our own project, but let's kick this on a little bit further. We'll just check what kind of transparency this image actually has. That will have an impact on how we load the image. That's why I want to check. So if I clear the screen up front to a bright blue, we run it. Okay, we can see the sprite, the area here, all this area here, that's our transparent area. If you're going to use this in a production, in your actual game, you want to make sure that all this dead area here is cut out. It's just going to cost you performance like crazy. But for now, we won't worry about it. We'll set this to true, so it will draw it transparent. But yeah. Okay, so we need to load this image as an AFX image. We'll see if it even loads. Now, there's a version of load image called load AFX image. The rest of the code doesn't change. There we have it. We're on screen. So we're up and running. Okay, so we've got our transparency working. The animation itself, I don't know how many frames are in that animation or anything. That's how much homework I did on this. So we're loading our attack sequence. Looks like there's 10 files that are called attack. So what we would do, or what we could do, is add a loop for loop equals 1 to 10. We can load these into image slots. We'll be a little bit more considered. So let's say that slot 100, we want to load our frames into slot 100 to 110. So what I need to do there is actually chop that off. They'll start loading at 101, won't it? Because the loop is starting here. So I had like this minus that. Looks ugly, but we'll get our desired impact. So now we have to dynamically create the file name. So what we'll do is we'll put 2 quotes in there, remove that one. Now we've made 2 strings. Put a plus, 2 pluses, and here we use the string, and loop. This will load us our sequence into memory, and then we'll be loading into image slot 100 to 110, between 100 and 110 I should say. If we try and draw this image 1 though, that will fail, and I'll just prove that to you. Boom, didn't work. That first image now is actually 110. Sorry, 100 I should say. Let's try that. We've got something back to normal. Cool. So we've loaded our images. It's probably taken a little bit of time. They're probably bigger files than what you might expect. Let's make a loop to display the frames. We could do something similar. We could just go for loop equals 100 this time. This is the actual frame we're going to be, the image in memory we're going to be using, to 110. So the program will run 10 times. I think we might have to, or we will have to actually add some extra logic to this, but this will do for the time being. We'll draw the frames, we'll draw the current frame at this position, so the animation should play out. We might move up the screen a bit though. It was a bit low before. So we're drawing our frame, calling sync, but we also need to clear off the previous frame. So we'll do this inside the loop. If I run that, you probably won't see much interesting. It'll just kind of run through the animation too quickly. And it did. Okay, 110. So we loaded 9 frames, and the last frame is going to be, 10 frames from 100 to 110. That means that frame 100 is the first frame, and frame 109 is the last frame. That's 10 frames. Yeah. Yeah. Just run again, see if we've got no errors. Cool. But of course we need to slow that down, so I'll just be a bit cheesy here and I'll just tell PB to set the frame rate to something, what about 10 frames per second? So we should see all the frames being rendered. Yeah, that's better. There you go. That's our very, very entry-level way of setting up your own project, getting your own media into it. Just save that again. So if I close the project down, close PB down, close all these windows up here. This is our project that we just made. I'll put this on the forum with the video, so you can come and have a look at it yourself. The folder just contains our night game sprite example. It also has the code with it. If you look at that in Notepad, you see it's just text. There's nothing special about it. And our graphics folder has our free night animations, which has got a lot more frames there for you to tinker around with. Maybe do something with them. Who knows? Anyway, that's how I normally store my projects and set them up. It is a little bit daunting the first time you do it, and yeah, I mean, don't be frightened of it. You probably will make a few mistakes the first time you do it. So actually give it a go. Get used to how the quirks of the PlayBASIC IDE, and before you start your big projects or anything, just to make sure you understand how it likes to do its work, and that you don't lose anything in the process, because it is possible for you to save over an existing project if you're not careful. So just remember that. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I hope that was of use to somebody, and we'll catch you some other time. Bye.